Hey guys, Nick Biddle here coming at you with this week's Drip. And this month, we're going to cover a series on failure. Failure is a part of this business, and I don't care if it's your second day in this trade or if you've been doing this for 36 years. Failure is a part of it. You're going to fail, you're going to screw up, you're going to do things that didn't work out. And sometimes we see failure early in our career because that's when we're learning. Sometimes, there might be some of you that have been doing this for 10, 15 years, but maybe you're running your first job. Sometimes we'll see career early in a new position just because of new things and new environment. And, there's a lot of people out there that are going to look at your career and they're going to say, boy, you really had it easy. You sure are lucky to have this great career in this great industry. And, most people are willing to do what you do, but they're not willing to do what you've done. They're not willing to do what you've done in order to build the career you have. And I want to challenge you this week, this entire month, to move forward when you find yourself face to face with failure. And so that the first story I'm going to tell you is about Walt Disney. And we all know Walt Disney as the man who founded Disney World and Disneyland and Mickey Mouse and all the movies that he's created. He holds the record for the most Academy Award nominations and awards. He's the most decorated person in his industry, but it wasn't always that way. He was born in 1901, had a terrible relationship with his father, hated school, loved to draw. There was not a lot of encouragement in his life to draw because that's no way to make a living. 1920, he created Laugh-O-Gram Studios, and after a couple of short years, he found himself bankrupt. He failed. Most people would give up there, say, you know what, I tried this thing, didn't work. He didn't. He said, well, I can't make it as an animator, but I want to be an actor. So he took his life savings, which was $40, and he went to Hollywood. He wanted to be an actor, and he failed. They didn't want him to act. He wasn't any good. He was too hard to get along with, and so he failed again. But he did notice, he said there's no animation studios in Hollywood, and he wanted to open one, so he called his brother Roy, and they opened up an animation studio. And when I say studio, I mean this was like a corner in a garage. It wasn't very fancy when they got started, but it grew, and he developed the character Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. And this little lucky rabbit was successful. So successful, he now had a team of animators. And he was headed out to New York to visit, to meet with his producer to renegotiate the contract. And when he got out to New York, traveling by train, he found out that his producer had gone behind his back and hired all his animators and had legally stolen the rights to Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Basically told Walt, you're done, get out. Walt gets back on the train. As you can imagine, his whole company's been stolen out from under him. Everybody he trusts, everybody he loves and knows has betrayed him. He gets on the train, tail tucked between his legs, and heads back to California. And it was on that train ride back to California that he created a little character we've all grown to know and love called Mickey Mouse. And a lot of us would think, well, he made Mickey Mouse and the rest is history. But the truth is he still struggled, could not make this little mouse make him any money. He ended up getting almost $4 million in debt trying to make this work. And this little mouse, even though everybody loved him and even though it was good, it wasn't profitable. Walt really wanted to do full-length animation movies. And at that time, Hollywood pretty much laughed him out of town. Said, you're crazy. I believe he got turned down by over 300 banks. No one wanted to finance his project. But one bank said yes, And as a result, he ended up creating the first full-length animation movie, and most of us have seen it, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And that is what really launched his career. It's going to be easy for any of us when we face failure, when we fall down, when we stub our toe, to give up, think what we're doing's not working. Walt Disney has said, let me read this because I thought this was pretty good. But Walt Disney, when he was asked about failure, and how that attributed to his success, he said that all the adversity that I've had in my life, all the stumbles, all the obstacles, they've strengthened me. You may not be ready when it happens, but a lot of times a good kick in the teeth can be the absolute best thing that happens to you. Guys, this week, when you fall down, when you do stub your toe, when you do fail, just dust yourself off and get back up at it. Next week, we're going to cover another famous failure. Till next time, take care.